What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros. Sam here with the Sultan of Sando, Mr. Gab Lim. Gab.
Wearing yellow in
Wearing yellow.
memoriam of the UST Growling Tigers. But
No.
celebrating the FEU Tamaraws.
Oo nga, no? Smart. Kaya ka pala nag-yellow. Pinag-isipan mo to, no, Mr. Gab, Sultan of Sando.
No, hindi. I was wearing this kanina pa while I was watching the games. I was watching those games wearing this yellow sando. Had no idea of what would happen, but two bangers on a Wednesday.
Two good games. Two entertaining games on a Wednesday night for all the UAAP fans. Ako, varsity lifestyle ko, syempre, Fighting Maroons. We'll talk about the two games today. But before that, I do want to shout out someone who sent us an email with some of their questions. And I sent this to you guys, and we really loved their questions. So, shout out to Ron, his office mate Jackie, and his wife Edge. So, si Ron and Jackie are office mates, and they're big fans of the Boleros. They always listen to the episodes daw. So, they sent us a couple of questions. We will be answering them. Shout out also to Ron's wife, Edge, who will be buying Cedar and Kona daw pretty soon. Love the email. If you guys have questions for us, please do send them in via the comments down below or send us an email. We'll include the email in the description. We'll read them in our next mailbag episode.
With
probably,
Maui. With Maui.
Yeah, with Maui. Probably when Maui comes back and when the UAAP takes a break. Yung start of November, I think may short break sila. One last thing before we talk about those games. Sorry, guys. I do want to announce, as promised, I do want to announce some of the winners of our hashtag Gatorade Ballers of the Week picks. So you guys sent in your Gatorade Ballers of the Week, and we picked 7 winners because we had 2 episodes, I think. So 7 winners from the 2 episodes. In no particular order, Stripes 1611 is our first winner. Cookie Fonster 22. I think si Cookie Fonster, Gab, yung nag-shout out sa mga referee uniforms na hindi natin
My
napag-usapan.
favorite answer of all the Ballers of the Week answers.
Thoughts
That's
on
my favorite.
those referee uniforms?
I love
Quick
it.
thoughts.
Classic uniforms stand out. It reminds me so much of the 90s and the 80s. Although hindi ko na born yung 80s, just being clear. I was not born in the 80s. Nakaparod lang ako ng videos of 80s NBA basketball, but it reminded me so much of those. I love it. Stand out uniforms. Stop it with the gray. That plain gray doesn't give boring vibes. Striped black and white, that is real referee uniform. Ngayon, alam mo na, sobrang addict natin sa amin. Pati referee uniform pinapansin natin.
No? Alam ko, sponsor ng Foot Locker eh. Baka lang, Foot Locker.
I love it. The Foot Locker vibes.
Foot Locker vibes, diba? Third winner, Rafael Serrano, 9312. Number 4, Drew F89. Number 5, one of our active commenters, Jeffrey Timbang, 6756 with a homer pick.
Happy yan ngayon.
Masaya, nanalo FEU winning streak. Number 6, si Euros with a 6 S's. So, Euros. And last but not the least, Pesigan Francis Luis D. 1461, si Fran Liu. Shout out to the 7 guys who won. Please send us an email with your details so we can coordinate with you deliveries of your Gatorade merchandise and products. Okay, let's get started. We'll just do quick reactions to those games. Let's start with that FEU UST. Sorry. Nahalo ko na. FEU NU matchup. The first game for today. Jorick Bautista doing it again in the clutch, in the 4th quarter, delivering the goods for FEU. Your initial reactions to that game, Gab?
Grabe. If there is an award for clutch player of the season, clutch player of the year, I think I posted about this. Should we give it to Jorick? Because he's essentially won them their 3 wins. He's essentially given FEU their 3 wins for this season. The first one in overtime against Ateneo, drilling 4 clutch jumpers in overtime, contested jumpers, just putting Ateneo to sleep. in their second win against Adamson. Also in overtime, he hit the game tying three, hit a layup in overtime, was essentially the catalyst of that win against Adamson. And now hitting the back breaking three with a 1 point lead, 57 to 56 over NU. And Jorick just hit that game. It essentially won the game. I mean, that was it. You're on mute, Sammy.
Ay,
You were saying
sorry. That
something.
was like 10 seconds left in the game. Tama ba?
No, that was earlier. It was 57-56.
Ah,
And you
okay,
had
okay.
made two straight baskets to cut the lead to one. And Jorick, with you were saying it, Sammy. Uh, and you had enough time to get the ball back with a 1 point
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
deficit. So, diba, do you foul? Do you not foul? But I think Coach Jeff Napa made the
Made
right
the right
decision not to
choice, yeah.
foul. Like, took his chances. I mean, if we get a rebound, we'll get the ball back with a 1 point deficit. But wow, Jorick Bautista just
Yeah,
nailing
yeah.
that three, and
Crazy.
crazy. He's just clutch. He's just so clutch. And not only was Jorick Bautista clutch in this game, Royce Alforque was clutch as well.
Two
He made
crucial layups.
two
Yeah.
crucial layups to keep NU at bay. And I do remember si Jan Ray also running a pick and roll and passing it to Mo Konate for a slam. So I think those were the last few points of FEU. And again, it's what I said during their Adamson win. What you have to be happy about this FEU team is now it's not just Jorick making clutch plays. It's now the others making clutch plays over and over again. And they now have their first their first winning streak of the season. The 2 games. Uh, it's like they're starting out similar to the past 2 seasons, Sam. Remember the past 2 seasons, they also started 0-5. Eventually got it going towards the second round. Challenged for the final four. Didn't eventually make it in both of those seasons, but they were in the thick of it during the end of the season, during end of the eliminations. They were in the thick of it for the final four. And at 3-6, and with UST losing and Adamson losing to them, they're they're right there.
They have a
So
chance.
can you believe it if you're an FEU fan? Starting 0-5, bottom of the standings, you actually have a chance to make it to the final four. I think that's a hell of a win if you're an FEU fan. And I do have to shout out to one guy who I think kept them in this game all throughout, Mo Konate. They wouldn't even be close to winning this game if it weren't for Mo. They scored 29 points in the first half. I think 12 of those came from Mo Konate. Their first Out of their first 31 points, 14 of them came from Mo Konate. And he was just
Halos
feasting
kalahati.
inside the paint. Yeah, yung halos kalahati ng first 31 points nila, galing lang kay Mo Konate. And it was just him dominating the NU front line. I'm sorry to my boy PJ Palacelo, but Mo Konate ate him alive. He had no answer for Mo, and Mo just crashing the glass. I think Mo played 39 minutes. Oh my goodness, played 39
He
minutes.
doesn't get to
He's
sit. Yeah.
he's barely gotten any rest the past couple of games now for FEU. And if there's one MVP of the season, it's Mo. I know Jorick has won them the games, and it's probably the clutch player, the big time guy. But throughout, they wouldn't even have a chance for Jorick to have those clutch plays if it weren't for Mo just grinding out the entire game. This was Mo Konate, another example of Mo Konate being the difference maker for FEU.
I think
Uh,
you or Maui called Mo Konate the most consistent FEU player in a previous episode, and I think
yeah, he
that's
is.
so true. That's so
and
true.
a,
He's the
and
most
a very
consistent.
underrated and underappreciated player in the UAP. Sam, I've had 4 people, one from our comment section in one of our previous videos, and 3 separate people who I've talked to during the games or outside the games who have all said to me that, "Uy, Si Motong Kara lang sa kasi Precious Momoway yung actually na magaling na FSAs this season. And all four of those occasions, I have said, nakakalimutan niyo ba si Mo Konate?
He's
Just
not as flashy kasi, no? He's not
He's
as
not
flashy as
flashy,
the
and
other two
FEU's
guys.
been losing. And throughout all
That's
of
true.
those four instances, they all of those four people have told me that, oh nga no, ang galing pala ni Konate. Nakakalimutan ko lang kasi talo na ng FEU. And that's it. He's very underappreciated. I think he's having even a better season than Precious Mamaway. Fight me on that. I think he has. His numbers are way better than Precious. But that's clearly an indication of how much he's going under the radar. That casual fans of even of other schools or casual fans of the UAAP don't even notice how much he's contributing to FEU this season. How crucial he's been to FEU, winning 3 games and being in these games. Their 6 losses weren't all blowouts. They were in these games. I think Sean Chambers said the same thing in his post game interview. He was actually happy with the first round because they were in the games. They weren't, being blown out by 30 or 20 except against UP, but they were in the games, they were competitive, and now they're starting to see the fruits of their labors. That they're actually learning how to close out games and learning how to stay in this. Uh, I love it. I love this for the FEU faithful. I love this for us who picked FEU as our possibly our top 4 team as in the final four. We're
Starting to look like ballers now.
we're starting to look like ballers instead of boleros. FEU looks really good right now. And Sammy, go ahead. Galing. Maybe you want to go into NU, who, on the other hand, has had a pretty tough season. Pretty tough season.
Yeah, before we go to NU, I do have to shout out Jorick again kasi I think you highlighted a lot of his clutch plays nung fourth quarter. I do want to highlight the other end. On the defensive end, I think he drew 2 charges in the fourth quarter. There was another charge he drew nung after the
Yeah.
last 2 minute
Both on
mark
Jake Figueroa.
on Jake Figueroa, the star of NU, who we know is drive strong to the basket, very unstoppable, who hit actually a couple of crucial shots then prior to that, and then he si Jorick drew charges on him. So that was a good play. I think what started out itong fourth quarter na to. By the way, shout out to uh sino nga ba yung nagko-courtside announcer nung game na yun? They were calling
Si, si,
uh
si Miko Halili.
si Miko Halili, si Tito Miko pala. They were calling Jorick Bautista parang Bautistime ba yun? Parang something like that.
Or
Kasi they were
Buckets Bautista. Yung
Buckets
sinasabi ni Miko
Bautista
Bautista.
they were expecting him to break out in the fourth quarter, and he did. And I think shout out then to VJ Pre, who had a good game. I think he scored in double digits. The first bucket of Jorick that got him going in the fourth quarter, it was a 3. It was a parang loose ball, bad play. VJ Pre dove for the ball. Nag-dive siya, tinalon niya yun dun sa may bench. So, tas na-save niya, and then Jorick pump fake. Tapos yun yung first 3 niya. And then when that went in, sabi ko, nako, ito na. Fourth quarter, Jorick Bautista time. So shout out to the hustle of VJ Pre. Yung one thing lang siguro that wasn't so good for me sa FEU sa game na to, and could have, if you look at the stats, could have cost them the game is
The
yung
three-point
three-point shooting. The three-point
Again.
shooting. Jorick was the only guy who hit the 3 of 19 sila. Yung tatlong 3 points na yon galing kay Jorick. I know we've been praising Rojan Montemayor, but he was awful in this game. He kept throwing clunkers. I appreciate the confidence. I appreciate that si Coach Sean is letting him take those shots, but those were horrible shots. Those were clunkers. Matagal niyo na din sinasabi to, Gab, na FEU needs more 3-point shooters on this team. After Montemayor, I think si Cholo Año Nuevo also took a three in the fourth quarter and was also a clunker. So bricks. So that was, I think, if FEU lost this game, you would point to that. You would point to the 3-point shooting. You guys didn't hit any of your threes. Buti na lang si Jorick Bautista
Actually, Sammy,
clutch.
that was my next point. And after you were done talking, I was gonna say this.
Go.
Yes, FEU did not hit their threes, but also NU did not hit their threes also.
We will get
Like
there.
FEU had three threes the entire game, NU had four.
Four.
Two, I think two of them were from Humamoy, from Rain
Humamoy
Humamoy.
and was it Steve Nash? Something like
I
that.
think si Paul
I know si
Francisco hit
Francisco. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
one, and then si Jake sa first half. But yeah, kind of a perfect matchup ang NU sa
Oh,
FEU because
non
the
three
both of
point
them are
shooting
terrible
teams.
outside
Yeah.
shooters. Go ahead, you were gonna say something.
Yeah, so they were horrible at the 3 points, pero I also want to shout out si sorry, from FEU, going back to FEU, Royce Alforque. Not only did he hit those two clutch layups in the fourth, I think
He
all
started
throughout
the
the game,
game.
yeah, he started the game, and I think all throughout the game he was very aggressive, driving to the basket. Yung problema mo kasi sa 3 points, lalo na if you're hitting bricks, 'di ba? Kapag 3 points, it helps the other team do a fast break, run the fast break kasi long rebounds siya. At least with si Alforque, when he drives, if he misses, Konate is there to rebound and put back that shot. I think Konate got a couple of easy tip-ins or putbacks from Royce Alforque layups or drives. And then, nung every time si Tebol Garcia got matched up to Royce Alforque just wanted to drive that ball, take Tebol Garcia one-on-one, take the rook one-on-one, scored on a couple of plays against Tebol Garcia. So, I do want to shout him out. Not obviously maybe that gave him the confidence to take those clutch layups during the fourth quarter. But I think all throughout the game he was very aggressive, and sometimes if you're not hitting the threes, just take it to the hole and just let Mo Konate rebound it. He's a rebound machine. So that's it for my FEU take. For NU, I to be honest, I don't know what to say. Si Tebol Garcia had his moments. I think nung start of the third quarter, that's when they sort of caught up with FEU kasi FEU was leading, 'di ba? And then you mentioned si Humamoy had his moments, also yung back to back or parang halos magkasunod na 3-point shots from Humamoy, if not back to back. But more of the same. They can't seem to close out their games. The rotations, ganun ulit with the guard rotations. Ang bilis, Tebol Garcia, and then pasok si Humamoy, and then tanggal agad si Humamoy when he made a couple of mistakes. Balik si Garcia. I think in the second half, did Steve Nash even go back nung bandang second half?
I
Parang
don't
hindi ko
think
na siya
so.
napansin eh. So, to be honest, I don't know what they're trying to do with the rotations. I was expecting Steve Nash to come back. Um, with the other guys, dun makikita mo talaga they're missing a big. Despite NU having Palacielo, Figueroa, Padrones, yung mga extra rice players nila, Mo Konate dominated the boards, scored 22 points on them. They're really missing their FSA. So, I think it's the same story for NU for me, and you called out yung 3-point shooting. They got one more extra 3-point shot versus FEU. 4 out of 13. Gab.
That's actually a great point, Sammy. Yung more of the same or nothing's new for NU, because I think that's part of the problem with NU and why they're losing all of these games. They're finding it difficult to score because they're essentially playing the same way as if they still had Mo Diazana. If you watch them in the preseason, when they
Mm.
had Omar
Mm.
John, when they still had Mo Diazana, they were playing this way. Slow it down, run the offense, dribble handoffs on the top of the key from either si PJ or si Mo when he was there. High low plays for Jolo Manansala or for Jake Figueroa. Uh, isolation basketball yung for Jake Figueroa. It's the same thing, and you're right, yung that's a good observation because I think they have to play a different style. And I do want to point out during the third quarter, when they finally took the lead, when they were scoring, it's because they were running. Diba? Quick
Mm.
offense. They weren't setting things up. They weren't doing the setup, dribble handoffs, off ball screen, so yung swing it to Jake Figueroa, ganon. They struggle in the half court, and you saw success in the third quarter when they made the run because they were getting quick buckets. Tebol Garcia, you got a couple of quick baskets. Jolo
Yep.
Manansala got a couple of quick layups. Jake Figueroa attacking quick
Attack.
and
Yeah, attack the
getting some
basket.
stabs
Yeah.
at the basket. That is, for me, that's I think how they have to embrace playing small and playing fast. They cannot play like they're still big because they're not anymore. Dati they were because they could line up si Mo Diazana with a 6'7 Palacelo or a 6'5 Kinchin Padrones. Diba? Kaya nila dati, or when they had a 6'7 Joe Gulapa to back up Mo Diazana. Kaya nila to play big dati and play it slow eh. Now they cannot because as much as PJ is good under the basket, minsan nahihirapan siya to go up against guys who are much taller than him or much more athletic than him. Yung kahit si Kenshin Padrones. So I do think they have to embrace a new style of play. And I know that's hard. It's a second round.
Yeah, it's hard
Where
to shift in the middle
yeah,
of the season.
they have 5 games left in the season. So it's kind of hard to do that, but I think they do. They need to be quicker. Ateneo, same thing. Yung maybe will go to them yung during the weekend. But that's also my frustration with Ateneo because they're small. They can't afford to keep the game slow, and that's what they do most of the time. They run their offense, they slow it down. There's a bunch of times where I want them to just take a stab. I don't know, a quick basket. I don't care if it's not set up or if it's a bad shot against a tall
Mhm.
defender. Sometimes you have to get quick baskets. Maybe you'll get a foul. Maybe you'll get blocked. Same thing with NU. When they go half court and slow it down, they find it difficult to score. Watch that third quarter again and look at how many quick baskets, quick fast break baskets, and you got. They eventually got the lead at 52-50, and then Jorick happened. But that was how they were able to get into this game and almost won this game again because they were scoring quick. So that's just me. And also more spacing, shooting. Uh, it bewilders me that we're still seeing lineups with 3 non-shooters
Yeah.
sa NU. Because it just doesn't work. The lack of spacing is apparent. Hirap na hirap si Jake Figueroa makascore sa loob ng basket because there's just a crowd inside the paint whenever he drives because there aren't so many shooters on NU. So, ewan, sayang. I know Jake Figueroa promised a finals appearance, but malayo na mangyari yun for this season. Sayang. I mean, they were supposed to be contenders for this
Yeah.
season.
Yeah, that's true. But that's what makes this season also interesting kasi nawala yung isang lock contender natin eh. So, really, yung 3 and 4 is up for grabs. And I can't believe we're saying this. FEU is still in the running for it. Technically, all teams probably still have a chance. Maybe less CNU because of that loss. But FEU has a chance to make it in the top 4. Moving on, anything else you want to talk about before we move on to that next game, which was also a weird game? Ito, UST Lasal. We have to talk about this weird game that suddenly went into overtime.
Before we move on to USC Lasal, I think Cholo Ananuevo made the big difference for FEU. Just another guy, uh, another veteran who can guard multiple positions and play multiple positions. I think si Sean Chambers during his press con did go out of his way to shout out si Cholo Anuevo and how valuable he thinks he is to his win streak. Well, they have won 2 games, but it's
Yeah.
still a win streak. But it coincides with Cholo coming back. So
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
that's a big thing for FEU. Let's see
yeah.
how they do in their weekend game.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I forgot to shout him out. I think it's he's another big body, diba? And sabi mo, a veteran that you can trust. He doesn't have the shooting. Huwag ka na lang tumilang tres Cholo Año Nuevo. But at least he's what? He's probably getting minutes, less minutes for guys like Miguel Ona, diba? Because he can play small ball big. We've seen them have some success with that sort of lineup from last season. I think I like Montemayor, but I think it doesn't hurt na Año Nuevo's there to sort of mix and match with Montemayor para hindi lang puro Montemayor minutes lang din. I think yun yung crucial. If you look at this team versus last year's team, uh, biggest difference would be si Konate helping them with the rebounding, but Cholo Año Nuevo was one of their top rebounders then from last year because they had no choice. So getting him back, helping them, they're still a small team, diba? So helping them get more rebounds, play defense. He's also a ball handler. We've seen him handle the ball, guard the best team. Yung versatility niya very crucial for this team. Yeah, that's a good shout out, Gab. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about that weird LaSalle UST game na probably some of you might have stopped watching after that first half because it
We
looked
did.
like we did. Okay. Sige na. Kala ko hindi mo babanggitin, Gab eh. Yun
We
pala.
have to be
Aaminin mo.
honest. We
Aminin mo
decided
pala.
to eat dinner. I'm like, after the first, I'm like, oh, okay.
Sorry
Kaya
guys.
to.
So pareho. By the way, we did not talk about this. After the first half, Gab and I literally decided to eat dinner. Kakain na ako. This is a ano stinker of a game. And then pagbalik namin, I think we both watched like the last 4 minutes. Oh, parang 9 points na lang. I think when we went back, pwede pa to. And obviously, it ended up with an overtime. It ended up going into overtime. UST running out of gas in overtime. Lasal taking that win by. They were up by like 10 points, 11 points in the end. Quick reactions. I I I think there's one guy I would blame for this loss. Although nung nawala siya, that's when UST made the run and tied the game. But I have to say, kung may bolero of the day tayo, it has to be Tongkara. Those were silly fouls. I think you mentioned it sa Telegram natin. Start pa lang, he had like a couple of silly fouls. The technical during the fourth quarter. And obviously, UST being a relatively small team, losing out on their FSA, I think that cost them their game. Some people will point to the Fortsky free throw, but ikaw, ba't kinulang yung UST dito, Gab?
Uh, well, same thing as the UP game last what was it? Last Saturday, yeah. Sunday, sorry. Last Sunday. They ran out of gas. Especially in overtime.
Yun yung theme
Nawala
eh,
na,
no?
yeah, nawala na sila ng gas by overtime. I think they were eventually outscored 13-3. It was a 93-83 game at that point with less than a minute left. It ended up being 94-87, but the others were just consolation baskets. But yeah, they struggled to score. It started with the free throws. They missed, 4 free throws to start overtime. They could not hit anything. Paranada missed 2. Nick Cabanero missed 1. I think si Fortsky missed another one also. And on the other end, lumabas na yung pagkawalang big man ng UST because they were playing a zone and the fact na yung big man nila sa gitna was Nick Cabanero, yung Ed Mark Limit kind of did them in. So a lot of paint points were there for LaSalle, and that was the game in overtime. But I do want to start at the very start of this game because yun nga, Sammy, we thought we were getting a stinker. We thought we were getting a blowout. Na parang, okay, it's gonna be one of those games again. Parang yung Adamson game in the first round where Lasal won by 30. It's gonna be like this.
It
Oh,
it it was so bad. Phillips, Agonane, and Raven Gonzalez all hit threes in the first half.
yeah,
That it was that bad for UST, and Lasal was that
it
hot
it was that bad that Rubico and Konov were inserted in the second
in the
quarter,
second half. I in the
which I
second
would
quarter,
go
yeah,
think I
yeah.
think was a pretty dumb move by Coach Topex. I have
I agree. I agree.
Diba? So anyway, the start of this game, it was essentially a KQ show. Scoring the first 13 out of the first 14 points came from KQ. He started off hot, and I think that spread to the whole LaSalle team because everyone's, as you said, everyone started hitting shots. Everyone started hitting threes. Henry Agonade hit a three. Mike Phillips hit a three. Raven Gonzalez got a quick 9 points off the bench. Doidungo hit threes. VJ David you hit a three. Everything was going in for Lasal, and that's what started the frustration with Mo Tungkara because he was one of the first UST players to get buckets, uh, along with Nick Cabanero, who was inserted in this game early. I think Mo Tungkara got his first foul. I think on a attempt by Henry Agonane. Then on another play, he went strong at Henry, got a layup, and then fucking flexed on Henry, stood on top of him. That was a sure technical foul. Like, have you not seen how the refs have been calling the technical foul for taunting? And now we got it again, and Coach Pedro was letting him have it.
He was
Like, what the?
livid.
He was livid. I'm sure he said the P word, like, I don't know. Bakit mo
Yep.
ginawa
Knowing
yun?
him. Yep.
Knowing him, he would have said that, like, that was your second foul. We need you in the game. Why are you doing
What are you
this?
doing?
Diba? That was crazy. And he was essentially subbed out of the game. And kudos to Nick Cabanero, who I think kept them in this game in the first half, made the lead kind of respectable
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
uh, for for Lasal, made the deficit kind of respectable, so parang kayang habulin. But yeah, in the second quarter, uh, UST went zone, and Lasal, for God knows
Went
what
with their
reason,
bench. Went with
went
their
with
bench
their
warmers.
deep bench. Like, what?
I don't know what Topex was doing
I don't,
there.
yeah, ako rin, I don't know what Coach Topex was thinking in that moment. Like, it's the second quarter, coach. You might want to, you've been hinabol na kayo multiple times this season. It just happened in your last game against
Mm-hmm.
UP. Up by 20, hinabol kayo. You might think you'd want more of a killer instinct.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Just
Exactly.
keep on piling on the lead.
Yep.
Don't put in Rubico and Konov who have not been getting minutes. Oh,
Yep.
kasi isa.
It was giving off yung UE game na KQ off the bench vibes. Na parang, are you taking this seriously, coach? Like, do you want to win? Or parang, hindi ba to seryoso for you? Parang yun yung vibe ko eh. Parang, seriously? Although, I do wanna question, like, if the thing with Lasal is they have a very deep bench. Na si Konov is a highly rated recruit. Sina Rubico are hype. People were hyping him during the off season. Is that like a result of having a very deep bench na itong mga stars, I have
Mm,
to feed them. I have to give them minutes kasi people are so hype. Baka umalis to.
No, no, no,
If,
no, 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 no.
or
No,
what
Sam.
do you
No,
think?
Sam. No, I, I think that was just the coaching staff and Coach Obek just being complacent. Like, because
Complacency talaga.
they weren't
Kasi they've
doing
been
that
called
in the
out for that before.
they've been
With
called out for that.
KQ
They
going off
weren't
the
doing
bench.
that
Yeah.
in the first round. Even with big leads in the first half, even though Adamson, where they were up by 30 in the first half, they didn't put in their deep bench guys in the first half. Sami, no, they put
Oo nga, no,
Konov in the
nga, in
second
the
half.
first half. Oh, that's a good point.
Oh.
Hindi sa first
So
half.
I
Maybe like
so I
third
really have
quarter,
to
fourth quarter,
question
yeah.
that because I they're so polarizing, this Lasal team is. Sometimes they look so unstoppable as in the first quarter. Then suddenly they put in their deep bench players. I think the lead was cut to 13 at halftime, 13 or 15. I'm forgetting, but that could have been bigger. if they didn't put in their deep bench guys. I know it was a chance for Konov to and Rubico to play, but maybe you could have done that in the fourth quarter if the game was out of reach. Second quarter, with a lot of game time remaining, and you put in your deep bench guys, that's crazy. So anyway, that's what happened. And
Sorry,
in the
just to
oh.
add to that, baka naging factor din yon, like na-insulto yung UST for na Lasal brought out the bench warmers in the second quarter. That's maybe that inspired them to push for that run in the second half. That could have factored in. Kasi ikaw, 'di ba? If you're trying to compete, tambak ka, UST ka, and then lalabas na yung I mean, we all know sina Konov and Rubico are the bench warmers here. Lalabas na yung bench warmers as early as that. May insulto ka eh, di ba? As a competitor, nakaka-insulto yun. Like, guys like Nick Caballero, we know, super passionate yan. He hates losing. He top scored for the team. That might have factored in.
I was sure that was locker room halftime material for Coach Pido. Now the fact that Lasal put in the guys they don't play against them in the second quarter, I'm sure Pido let his team have it. Like, papayag ba kayo doon na ipapasok lang nila yung mga bangko nila para ilaro tayo? Hindi, humabol tayo. I'm sure something up to that effect was
Gablim doing
happening.
his best Pido impression.
I am bald, so it's close. Yeah, but I'm sure that was locker room material for Coach Pido. He's a great motivator, si Coach Pido. He might not be a great
Tough
basketball
love.
tactician, but he's a guy who knows how to motivate his team. We've seen that in the many years he's coached the UST basketball team. He's a good motivator. So I'm sure that was part of the pitch, or that was part of the sermon during halftime. In the third quarter, I still thought that UST was gonna lose this game. Kahit nung humabol na ako ng 4 minutes left in the third quarter.
Yeah.
Kasi Lasal was up by like, what, 15 pa rin?
Yeah.
Despite si Migs Pangilinan, who we have to shout out, finally got hot and hit some threes. Nick Caballero continuing to play. And Motong Kara, actually, he had a dunk, although he missed another one. He hit a three. So he was keeping them in this game. And again, keeping the game within reach. It was not until the fourth quarter that they really cut the lead to single digits. But the zone worked for UST. And this is where I really said to myself, sobrang polarizing ng Lasal team na to, because you have times when this Lasal team looks so unstoppable. Just look in the first quarter, just look in the UE game, their previous game, just look in the first half against UP. They looked unstoppable when their offense is humming, the ball is zooming around, everyone's hitting shots, and then you get this Lasal team from the third and fourth quarter of this game who just were so sloppy. They turned it over multiple times. Sam, in the last 2 minutes of this game, I think they turned it over 4 times.
4 times? 3 to 4 times, yeah.
Yeah, like, I do remember when Motong, by the way, the fourth foul of Motong Kara was dumb. He missed a layup. He fouled VJ David out of frustration for his fourth foul. And I'm like, bro, what the hell are you doing? Save your fouls for some... Oh, like, don't do that. And then his fifth foul in the fourth quarter, clapping in Mike Phillips' face, and then acting like he didn't know why he was called for technical.
Tapos tinatanong yung coaching staff.
He was asking his coaching staff, what did I do? And his coaching staff, you clapped in his face. What do you mean? What did you do?
I love that video. You guys have to see that.
You guys have to watch that video of the sidelines. I think one of the assistant coaches that's telling Motong Kara na you clapped in Mike Phillips' face and talked shit to his face, and you expect, and you're wondering why they called a technical foul and kicked you out of the game. Really, Mo? Crazy, but yeah, after that, UST made a wild run. I think that they had 3 straight steals of behind the back tips from Fortsky Padrigao.
Yeah.
One of them leading to a Fortsky layup, the other leading to a corner 3 by Migs Pangilinan. The other was a fast break layup by Manaytay, which was greatly contested by Mike Phillips. I think that saved them the game, to be honest. And then the other one was a stupid turnover by CJ Austria.
Austria, yeah.
Remember that? He attacked he attacked the paint in off a zone and was essentially in no man's land. Didn't know where to pass into. Ended
Had
up with
to
another
throw the ball.
turnover.
Yeah.
That was 4 turnovers in the last 2 minutes of this game. They had 26 total turnovers in this game. Majority of them coming in the second half, where they essentially let UST back in this game just by turning it over. So polarizing, this LaSalle team. Diba? And after that, the unsportsmanlike foul on Fortsky
From Mike Phillips.
from Mike Phillips. I mean, come on, that is so frustrating. And I'm sure a lot of the LaSalle fans were hands on their head and they were like, are we actually gonna lose this game to a sportsmanlike foul by Mike Phillips? They were lucky Fortsky missed that
Forsky
free.
missed. Oo, kung na-shoot yun ni Forsky, game over. I mean, bola pa nila. They could hold the ball.
Oh,
They could shoot free throws.
diba? They got a
They
lucky
got
break.
lucky. They got
They
lucky.
got a lucky break on that one. And and then the last shot by UST, it was Forsky attempting a shot from 4-point range, and that was good defense by LaSalle. They essentially forced it out of Nick Cabanero's hands and made Forsky shoot a tough contested three. Yeah, and as I said, in overtime, wala na ng gas ang UST. But what a game. I
Manaytay
think,
also fouled out. So, maliit na sila to begin with. Lalo pa silang lumiit.
yeah, and yun, grabe. I did not expect that we would be getting this game. Actually, sa utak ko, yung pwede na tayo yung mag-record bukas kasi
Bukas na lang, kasi
Oo,
boring
kasi
naman to eh.
boring naman tong second game. We can postpone this until tomorrow. But no, we got a pretty exciting one. Anyway, Sam, your thoughts. Grabe, na I got more than I bargained for on this Wednesday.
Yeah. Just for me, si Tongkara talaga, we've been praising him the whole season and for good reason. He's been one of the best FSAs this season. But that was a very frustrating game for me. If you're a UST fan, I'm curious to know. Marami tayong UST listeners then that commented in the previous episode. Na-frustrate din ba kayo kay Tongkara? A lot of those silly fouls, the technicals, and to be fair, inalat din talaga siya sa game na to. I think when they started, yung sa first quarter pa lang, he had like 2 layups, easy layups nung start of the game that he missed. You talk about that dunk, fast break dunk in the third or the fourth quarter that he also missed. So, they had opportunities and those were his shots, just couldn't make them. So that was very frustrating for me. You talked another guy that frustrates me a lot and he didn't siguro na inis na din si Pido dito eh. He got into early foul trouble. Si Crisostomo played
Yeah, I think he
3
only played
minutes.
3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Yeah,
I can't believe he only played 3 minutes. Sobrang liit na ng team nila but si Coach Pido, I guess, did not trust him because he just kept fouling. 4 fouls in 3 minutes. I'm so frustrated kasi I mentioned this I replied to one of the commenters dun sa previous episode. I thought he would break out right after that Ateneo game kasi he dominated Ateneo. Nakita natin yung versatility niya. We even said this is the reason why he's starting over Zayn Mahmoud because he's big, he's long, he's athletic. But after that Ateneo game, parang nawala na siya eh. I'm so far I've been disappointed with Crisostomo. Syempre I'm gonna eat my words when he faces Ateneo again tapos magbe-break out siya ulit. But I think they need more from him. You talk about yung pagiging polarizing ng LaSalle. Well, to be fair, UST was very polarizing in this game also. They started out horribly. They started out bad. Then they made that crazy run and then they just ran out of gas. Naka-yellow shirt ka. A lot of the UST fans did say when I said UST could be a bust, na-hype tayo. I ranked them very high, but so far they've been very disappointing to me. A lot of the listeners or commenters told me, it's okay. We understand. We're rebuilding. This is just the second, technically the second year of Coach Pido, the second year of the rebuild. Um, we're happy if we can make it in the final four, which they do have a chance, and we're happy if games are close. If we can just stay close with the likes of UP and LaSalle, we don't expect to beat them, but we're happy if we stay close. Ikaw, Gab, kung LaSalle fan ka, taking a look at the entire game, is this a moral victory pa rin for you? Are you happy or are you more frustrated? Kasi frustrating how bad they were to start and how bad it ended. Despite having that crazy run, yung immaturity ni Tongkara, what are you feeling? Kung kung UST fan ka, wearing that yellow sando right now.
Uh, Again, Sam, it depends talaga on what you expected from UST coming into this season.
Okay,
Ako,
okay. So, ganun pa
I
rin.
didn't expect them to be in the Final Four. I didn't have them there. I still in our burning questions episode, I still had Adamson as a possible new Final Four contender.
Correct.
So I think for a ton of USD fans, just for them to be competitive, against the top contenders, they were competitive against UP, both in round one and in round two. They were competitive against LaSalle for one half in round one, and now they came back in this game again. For one half, they were competitive still. Uh, so so for if you're a UST fan, you were expecting them to compete, and actually they've won 4 games. I think you'll be happy with that. Diba? I think you'll be pretty satisfied with what they're giving. You see the aspects on where they need to improve. You see how the roster needs to be improved. So I think if you're a UST fan, you're happy with that. If you're from LaSalle, uh, ewan, I know a lot of Lasallians in my lives, and they're very polarizing as well. Diba? They're happy when LaSalle wins, but when LaSalle sucks, they will criticize their team. And I think you have reason to be happy. You won. You didn't get a second loss, and possibly
That was
if
so
you
close. They
if you get a
almost
second
lost
loss, you
again.
have to beat UP again to fight for the number 1 seed, and who knows what will happen, diba? Um, so if you're happy with that, but to see them regress to their first round ways, wherein they turn the ball over so much and they struggle against a zone defense, they have this. They have stretches where they really struggle for against zone defenses. So if you see that, you're kind of worried, you're kind of frustrated also. So again, no, you're very polarizing. You can be very angry with them for playing like garbage time in the second quarter, for turning the ball over 26 times, for almost giving this game away in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. You can be very angry, but in the end, if you won, and you can be
A
happy
win's a
about that.
win.
Oh, a win's a win. Take it, diba? So some will have that attitude. Some will look at the entirety of the game and see how come we're doing this, how come we're still turning the ball over, and how come we're giving games away just like this. So it can be both. I do want to shout out. Now we finally saw flashes of the Kyle Paranada we were accustomed to seeing
Oo
in season
nga.
85.
Yeah.
Hit 2 crucial threes in the fourth quarter. Had only 8 points, but was there in crunch time. And I think if you see more of the Kyle Paranada from this would be a big lift. Again, they were last in bench points coming into this game in the whole UAAP. I I think you mentioned this. That's the reason why they started to put Nick Caballero coming off the bench. And if that helps a guy like Kyle Paranada, you get his rhythm, maybe do more spot up shooting rather than be a total playmaker, then I'm all for it. This is a good start for Kyle. I mean, he's had a very disappointing season so far, so I hope he can build off of this.
Yeah, and you called him out or pointed it out in the previous game. He sat on the bench. So baka that helped the benching of Paranada in the previous game
Maybe
by
that was a message by Coach
yeah,
Pido saying,
that
"Get your
motivated
shit
him.
together."
Yeah.
Oh,
Sabi mo nga, tough love tong si Coach Pido. So that was a good move by Coach Pido, benching him in the previous game. He did miss the free throws though in overtime. Anyway, on the other end, sa Lasal, a few things to note, I guess, before we go. Um, Earl Abadam did injure his ankle, so something to watch out
JC
for
Makalalag too.
and JC Makalalag at the end of that game, who by the way is their third leading scorer apparently. So those are two guys that also help handle the ball, defend some of your toughest guys, contribute in scoring. So there's something to watch out for LaSalle. I wanna shout out a commenter in the previous episode. I don't remember his name, but he did mention CJ Austria is slowly getting into his rhythm, in his groove, pero may kita mo na out of shape pa rin siya. So, he had like silly turnovers, but sometimes, siguro siya ng epitome of Lasal, no? Yung very polarizing. Marami siyang silly turnovers. Meron din siyang, I think it was in overtime, nag-try pa siya mag-behind the back pass or something like that, and it was a bad pass. But sometimes he can make crucial blocks. He blocked an Estacio 3 in overtime. He hit
Yeah, he
crucial
did.
shots then. So I think if LaSalle's going to contend and win the finals, they need this guy back in full health. I don't think he's still 100%, but he's getting there. They need him. Um yeah, that's it. But siguro for me, for LaSalle, playing the bench guys in the second quarter, yun yung main question ko or takeaway ko. Coach Topex needs to take this seriously, or else it might bite them in the ass later on. Any parting words?
Nothing much, but that the UAAP just keeps on surprising us. I was surprised by these two games. I wasn't expecting to get two bangers on a Wednesday night.
Nagsisis tuloy tayo, nag-dinner tayo eh. No? Dapat kasi hindi na tayo kumakain eh. Anyway, that's it for today's episode. Comment down below your reactions, thoughts from those two interesting games this
Follow us on
Wednesday.
Instagram.
And yeah, thank you for reminding me. Do please follow us on Instagram at BolerosPH. We will be posting the winners there. So kung di nyo na sundan dito yung Gatorade Bowlers of the Week winners, we'll post it there. Comment, like, share with your friends, subscribe, send in your questions for our next mailbag episode. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.